Israel wanted a king, not a prophet, not a judge, not the invisible leadership of God. They wanted someone they could see, so they chose a man who stood taller than everyone else, strong, impressive, commanding. And through the prophet Samuel, God anointed Saul. At first, Saul seemed humble. He even hid when it was time to present him as king. But insecurity has a way of growing when identity isn't rooted in obedience. Saul began well. He won battles. He led courageously. The Spirit of God empowered him. But slowly, obedience became optional. When God gave instruction, Saul adjusted it. When he feared the people, he compromised. When confronted, he defended himself instead of repenting. And in one devastating moment, Samuel told him, "The Lord has torn the kingdom from you." Saul was still on the throne, but heaven had already moved on. In a quiet field, far from palaces and applause, another anointing was taking place. A shepherd boy, forgotten by his own family when Samuel came looking for a king. David. He didn't look like royalty. He smelled like sheep. He had no crown, no army, no reputation. But when the oil touched his head, heaven declared what earth did not yet see. And then something unexpected happened. David went back to the sheep. No throne, no promotion, just pasture. Because God anoints in private and appoints through process. Then came a giant. Goliath stood mocking Israel, and Saul, the tall king, trembled in fear. But the shepherd who had faced lions and bears stepped forward, not with armor, not with a sword, but with trust. The battle is the Lord's. And with a single stone, the giant fell. Overnight, David became a hero. Songs filled the streets. Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s. And in that moment, insecurity turned to jealousy. The same king who once welcomed David into his court now saw him as a threat. Saul tried to pin him to the wall with a spear, once, then again. David could have fought back. He had done nothing wrong. Instead, he kept serving. He played the harp to calm the man who was trying to kill him. Faithful, honoring, respectful, even when authority became unstable. Eventually, David had to run, from palace to wilderness, from praise to pursuit. The caves became his refuge. Men in distress gathered around him, not an army of strength, but an army of brokenness. And one night, Saul walked into David's cave, alone, unaware. The king who hunted him was now within reach. David's men whispered, "This is your moment. God has delivered him into your hands. One strike, and the throne would be his." But destiny taken too early becomes disaster. David crept forward, cut off the corner of Saul's robe, and even that grieved him. "I will not stretch out my hand against the Lord's anointed." David understood something most people don't. You don't have to destroy what God has rejected. God is fully capable of removing Saul. David refused to promote himself through revenge. He chose integrity in the cave over power in the palace. Saul continued to spiral. Fear, paranoia, isolation. The anointing had lifted. The throne remained. And eventually, on a battlefield called Gilboa, Saul fell on his own sword. When the news reached David, he didn't celebrate. He wept. For the king who hunted him, for Jonathan, his friend, for the tragedy of wasted calling. Integrity doesn't rejoice when enemies fall. Years passed between David's anointing and his full kingship. First, Judah crowned him king. Later, all Israel. The throne came, but only after caves, betrayal, and waiting. The oil had marked him long before the crown confirmed him. And when David finally sat on the throne, he carried something Saul never learned: authority without insecurity, power without paranoia,
strength rooted in surrender. Maybe you're in the cave right now, overlooked, mistreated, serving under leadership that feels unfair. You've been anointed, but not yet appointed. The temptation is to force the door, to throw the spear back, to take what you believe is yours. But the cave is not punishment, it is preparation. David did not become king the day he was anointed. He became king the day he chose integrity when no one was watching. God promotes, and when he does, no one can stop it. The question is not whether you are called. The question is, will you trust him in the waiting? Will you honor him when it costs you? Will you refuse to become Saul while waiting to become David? From cave to crown, the journey is long, but the throne that comes from God is worth the wait.